Who doesn't love Team Rocket? Very iconic. They've pretty much been on every single episode of the anime. And every time they reach a new region with Ash, they also change up their team slightly. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to choose Team Rocket's anime team from Pokemon Gold and Silver. We'll see if we can beat the game. And of course, hope you enjoy the video, like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We can only use Team Rocket's anime team in battle, and a load of other rules. So let's get started. Now at the start of the Johto series, Team Rocket actually had a full team in a way, and they only added one new Pokemon to the team throughout that region. In my last video where I did Kanto using only Team Rocket, I only used their main 3 Pokemon, and then I got a load of people saying, but they got Victory Bell, they got Licky Tongue in this generation. Yeah, my bad, sorry guys. This time we are going to add them to the team, and we're also going to add their one Johto Pokemon to the team as well. So starting off, we are going to pick Meowth. Meowth never evolves, so it unfortunately will always stay as Meowth in this run. But we can also pick up their 2 other starter Pokemon for this region, before we go and pick up the rest of them throughout the rest of the run. So once we have gone to Mr. Pokemon's house, we've talked to Professor Oak, we will head back down to Cherry Grove, and we will also go and fight the rival for the very first time. Now, honestly, I think Meowth got a big upgrade in this. I've already got the Pokemon Game Shark code in for Ekans. That's why Chikorita's now saying Ekans and is purple. That's honestly hilarious. We do beat it quite easily. But yeah, Meowth got a big upgrade in this generation, in my opinion. That's purely just down to the Dark type. It does get the move Bite, so having a Dark type move on one of our Pokemon is honestly really, really useful. J-John, you are going to be our rival for today. Hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started with the run, and my reflection is looking good. So, Meowth is one of the core team members of Team Rocket. Of course, in Gen 2 they also have Ekans, well they have Arbok and Weezing by this point, but I'm going to start off with Ekans and Koffing as well. So we'll add Ekans to the team, and then we'll add Koffing to the team as well. Both of these Pokemon... Koffing is not going to be good for a long time, in all honesty. Its level up moveset is pretty garbage, its stats not very good, and it evolves quite late on, in my opinion. We run out of Pokeballs here, so we have to hack in a Master Ball just so I can start with this trio. But honestly, I think Ekans is probably going to be one of our core team players for a long time in this run, because it does evolve early, and it does get some decent early moves. Meowth as well, probably going to be in that mid-range, but Koffing on its own is going to be quite a terrible Pokemon until we can get it evolved. Meowth, of course, pretty good in the early game. It's got decent attack stats, it's got decent speed, so it can outspeed quite a few things, and it gets some pretty good stab moves along with that. We take on all of the trainers leading up to Violet City just because we need to actually get some levels up. If we're starting off with 3 Pokemon, there's not much experience to go around, so we do need to go against all the trainers and all of as many wild Pokemon as possible before we even go into Falconer's Gym. And we can also pick up our very first our 4th team member here as well, just outside of Violet City. You can pick yourself up a great Pokemon, but there's a little bit of an oddity with this one, because for a lot of the anime, they had a Victory Bell. We can pick up a Bellsprout here in the grass. Well, that's not a Bellsprout, that's a Pidgey. We can eventually find ourselves a Bellsprout, it does take a little bit of time. But this Bellsprout, there are no Leaf Stones until you get to Kanto. Yeah, you heard that right. Unless I really don't know where the Leaf Stones are in Gold, I've never found them in any of the runs that I've ever done or any of the playthroughs I did before, you can only get a Leaf Stone in Kanto in Celadon. Which means, when it evolves into Weeping Belt, we're stuck with that until after the League. Which I find really, really weird. A lot of people say that Gold and Silver was just better. It is a lot better than Gen 1 in a lot of aspects. But there's still a lot of oddities that just don't make sense, like why can't some stones be available earlier on? Yeah. This team is also really not set up to take on physical attackers at this early stage. Meowth manages to get a final win, but that one Spearow took down our entire team. Bellsprout was pretty useless in this gym, but at least we could use it as a sack Pokemon. So we're starting off here against Falconer. Falconer, of course, has got Mud Slap on his Pokemon. The best thing we can do with Koffing is hope that we can get the Pokemon poisoned. After that, we'll just try and chip away with Tackle, but it's not going to deal all too much. We do get quite lucky though, and Koffing gets Pidgey all the way down, and we leave it on 8 HP, because I want to bring it back here if we can get it poisoned, like the Pidgeotto poisoned. So we're going to go into Bellsprout, and this will be our sack Pokemon. We set up a growth just literally because there's nothing else it can do. Vine Whip will do nothing. And then from there, we switch back into Coffin, who can tank one hit. We hit the Poison Gas, which has only got 60% accuracy, by the way. And to be fair, as long as we can hold out now, Pidgeotto should go down. We use a Growl to lower its attack so that it can't take out the Ekans as quick. And hopefully from here, Poison Stings and Tackles should get down. It's only doing about 5 damage per hit, so we should be outpacing the damage. We beat Falconer first time with this strategy. And yeah, it's very rare when you see the likes of Growl and Poison being like a legitimate strategy to get through quite easy. Moving ourselves into Union Cave. This is where, of course, both Meowth and Bellsprout will shine here. We've given Mudslap to our Meowth. Yes, I'm foregoing any of the moves they actually have in the anime. I just think it would be far too restrictive this time around. And we're going to make sure we can get some levels up on these Pokemon. Bellsprout will be useful because it's got a poison subtype. It can resist some things, but grass isn't that great in this region. Purely the reason I wanted a Bellsprout is because eventually it's going to get Sleep Powder and other status moves and like that, so that's going to become a team player as soon as it gets those moves. But really, Meowth and Ekans in the early game are the MVPs. They are just sweeping through most teams pretty comfortably. Heading into Azalea Town, we start off the Rocket side quest here and we meet our brethren, but for some reason they just want to test us. We switch Coffin in and we see how we do against these guys. They're just testing us to see how we do here. And Coffin's now learnt Smog. Smog is pretty terrible, but it does have a higher chance to get poison damage off. So, once we've taken out the couple of Rattatas, we'll eventually break our way through to the final Rocket in this little side quest. And he's got a level 14 Coffin, which by 3 levels already outshines our Coffin. But we have got a team, he's only got 1 Pokemon. With that though, we'll head our way through to the gym past this. This guy though is not too much of a problem. The only problem with having this sort of team right now is the fact that none of our moves are super effective. And this Coffin is dealing out a lot of damage on us by having that increased level. So once we've switched out, we've got Bite on our Meowth now, which will be perfect for the next rival fight. And Bite just does tons of damage, plus it's a special type move in this generation, because Dark is special only in this generation. That's going to be perfect because this team so far, we don't have many special type moves to work with. Moving our way into the gym, we're really going against every single trainer here. When you start off with 4 Pokemon pretty much, you really need to go against as many optional trainers as possible to get as much experience and level your team out. We are going to try and get him close to the level cap as well, because the next gym leader, even though we do have a resistance with the poison type against the bug type, that we're also not super effective against them, so we're going to need to get them poisoned to get through this fight. Especially with Cypher coming out with its Fury Cutter, that move is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Team Rocket though, we easily quite easily get our way through this gym. Mostly Coffin just can tank loads of damage as well. That's one good thing about a Coffin. It is very defensively bulky, physically defensively bulky, but especially defensive, not too much. What I'm looking forward to with Coffin is when it can actually learn Self-Destruct and Explosion. Yes, we are going to go for those moves because it does use it a lot in the anime, and it does get him out of quite a lot of binds by using it. But that poor Coffin has exploded on itself more times than I want to make a joke about. Against Bugsy though, we try and take down as many Pokemon as possible with just our Ekans. It can get down to very low HP, and what I'm hoping for is at least we can get 1 Poison Sting in, but a Quick Attack one-shots us from there. We are still quite underleveled. Coffin comes in with a Smog, we don't get the poison. We hit it again, we don't get it. He goes for Fury Cutter, and now it's starting to accumulate. This is looking quite bad now. We do not end up getting the poison, and we have to switch into Bellsprout, who probably won't be able to stand up to this, and neither will Meowth on a 5-turn Fury Cutter. Let's try that again. It came down to luck this, like, if you get them poisoned, you should be okay. But if you don't get them poisoned, you're kind of struggling too much with this fight, because poisons right now is our biggest damage output. Cocoon comes in, and you know what, I'm going to switch out of using Ekans here and go into Bellsprout. There's not too much a Cocoon can do against us. It can't poison us because we are a sub-poison type ourselves, and I don't think poison can poison a poison type. But what we can do is set up to +6 on our growths and start using Vine Whip to deal out some big damage. That means, oh man, I was hoping we can at least get one hit in on that Cypher to take out some damage. So then we switch back into Ekans, who gets the poison on Cypher, which is perfect. But we're also not in a great position because he could start using Fury Cutter now. So I'm really hoping for a Fury Cutter miss, but we don't get it on the Meowth. It's all on Coffin now, but poison damage is really taking its toll on this Cypher. Because we've got better physical defense with Coffin, we're only taking 1 damage from Fury Cutters, and quick attack's only about 5. So Coffin bulks it out to get us the win here. Probably a lot more useful than I gave it credit for right at the start of this video. Next up though is the Azalea Town rival. I always think this is one of the harder rival fights in the entire game, but with Meowth having Bite, it's a one-shot on the Ghastly. It can deal out okay damage on the Zubat. We are still very underleveled for this fight, and if we at least take out the Zubat, we're already onto the Bayleaf before we get taken down with Meowth. So that's perfect because Ekans can use Poison Sting, which is super effective on Bayleaf, and we resist grass types. So from here, as long as we get the poison, we can Poison Sting our way to victory. And very, very soon, Ekans will evolve when it gets into the early 20s, but that probably will be after the next gym because the level cap is level 20. And I'm pretty sure it evolves level 21, 22. From there, we can go into National Park when we reach Goldenrod, and we're going to pick up the Dig TM. This is a great move to give an Ekans because there's not many ground type moves that we can actually learn, and Mud Slap and Dig probably the only 2. We definitely are going to need Dig for this next gym so we can get around accumulation damage. Whitney, of course, she's got a Clefairy and then she has got a Miltank. The Miltank is always scary, but thankfully, around about level 18, Bellsprout can learn Sleep Powder. This gives us a chance to set up our growths and hopefully one-shot both Clefairy. Well, I was hoping so, and then Double Slap, and Double Slap just didn't work in our favour there. It took off so much HP, and Vine Whip at +6 still can't even take out Clefairy. Bellsprout, probably nowhere near as good as it is in Gen 1. We bring in Coffin, and I decide, can we at least get a poison off? We hit the poison, and then we just go for self-destruct. And it doesn't even take out that Miltank. That is really bad luck. Rollout is now sweeping through our team, and poison damage is not even touching it because it one-shots us. I still think this is the right strategy. This time around though, we're going to start off with Ekans and get the poison on Clefairy. After that we will bite it and hopefully get some flinches, which is working in our favour right now. Flinches got 30% chance to hit, and we hit twice in a row there. Miltank is out next, and again if we can get the poison that would be perfect. But we start seeing rollout again. We get a rollout miss, okay. That's fine, it's reset it. If we can deal out some good damage and get it to sleep with Bellsprout, we should be okay at maybe take it out with Bellsprout, but then we can still switch into Coffin and get a self-destruct for the win. It does mean we will lose the experience that we would gain from this Pokemon, but, oh man, Stomp took us out. Can we get the self-destruct win here? We hit Poison Gas, it is poisoned, and they go for rollout after that, meaning we get a critical hit for the self-destruct and we win. This is why I really slept on Coffin until we got to around about Goldenrod. Self-destruct is going to be incredibly useful for this run. Plus it's very typical of Team Rocket to just blow their way out of any situation. So I'm quite happy we have Coffin on the team with this move, and we get it quite early on, which was very surprising. I thought we got it in maybe the mid-20s. But it's kind of an overpowered move for this part of the game. We move up to the next route, of course, with Sudowoodo, and unfortunately we do not catch this Pokemon. Brock does get a Sudowoodo, but Team Rocket do not. And that makes me kind of sad. It makes me kind of sad, because Sudowoodo would honestly be a great Pokemon for a Team Rocket team. It's goofy, it's got more personality than I think people give it credit for, but still, we are not able to get a Sudowoodo. From here, we will head back to Violet City, just so we can heal up, and then we will go through to Ecruteak City. Ecruteak City, I think it's going to be kind of difficult, but we did pick up HMO. I can't remember the HMO. We picked up Dig in the National Forest and National Park, That one should help us through this gym pretty comfortably, and same with Meowth's bites. We also go against as many optional trainers as possible because we are still really low level for this team. Even though we've gone against quite a lot of optional trainers, we're still quite low level. I think a lot of these Pokemon have got quite slow growth rates. They aren't leveling up as quick as I was hoping, especially Coffin. And considering that... Oh my god, Disable again. I hate Disable. We've just done the, one move only challenges in the last few days. My god, I hated the move Disable. It just completely trashed those runs. And normally Disable is not a good move, it is not very useful. And it just completely tore me up on those single move challenges. Of course, go through to Psychic Greg, and he's got a super effective Pokemon against the majority of our team. He also likes to spam Hypnosis, he is annoying. So we go for the Coffin Self-Destruct just to really stick it to him there. He is my absolute rival in Gen 2. Once we've headed into Equity City, we either need to go against the Kimono Girls or we go to Morty first. I opted for the Kimono Girls because that way we can get HMO free Surf and some more experience against all of the Kimono Girls. These are pretty easy fights really, even Meowth can take them down pretty comfortably. Flareon is weak to Mud Slaps, so after we get a few accuracy drops, we go for the bites for the win. We get about 720 experience per evolution here. So think about it, there's 5 trainers here. You can get about 3,500 experience just from these trainers alone. And that's very, very useful when there's barely much experience to go around. But of course, in Morty's gym, of course, there is another trainer with 5 Ghastlies who gives you about 350 experience per Ghastly. So there's a lot of experience as well. That also means that we need to figure out a way around Ghost Poison types because they will be very quick compared to our team. The fastest Pokemon on our team is most likely that Meowth, which is very weird. But if Meowth can't outspeed them, then we're in a big problem. It's got a great move in Bite that we don't need to worry too much about Ghost types. Dark type will super effectively hit them, but at the same time, it's very squishy Pokemon. Meowth's defenses are not very good. It relies purely on speed and attack to make it work. Once we've beaten all the Kimono Girls, we will head into the gym, and this is where we'll see how we do. So this guy here is the one with 5 Ghastlies, and Bite is not even a one-shot at level 19. We can learn the move Payday, we might as well learn that, get some extra money. But yeah, Bite is just not dealing out enough damage for these Ghastlies, and that makes me worried for when we go against the Gengar and Haunters later. Thankfully as well, Ekans has also learned Bite, and as soon as we get Cursed, we can switch between Pokemon and to get around the Cursed damage. Bite can take them out from around about half HP, but as soon as the next Pokemon comes in, we again switch into our other Pokemon with Bite and take them down. So it's very easy to take them down, but there's a lot of switching we're going to need to figure out. Morty, I always think, was shortchanged in this generation by the developers. I mean, Misdreavus is a new Ghost-type Pokemon this generation. They didn't even give him a Misdreavus. They purely just gave him the Gengar-only line, and that really never sat right with me. Because how many people really saw a Misdreavus in this generation because of that? Meowth takes out the first 2 Pokemon pretty comfortably, and then in comes Gengar. We've been locked in, so even though we've been cursed, we can't do anything. Curse takes us out, so at least they can't recover their HP with Dream Eater. But again, we get put straight to sleep by that Gengar, and we have to switch out into Coffin, who really can't do much here. Smog is the only move that can hit them, and even then, it's going to be like 1 damage per hit. We really don't want to be hit by Mean Look, but as long as we can do something, we just don't want to be hit by Dream Eater, because then they'll recover all the HP, and we have to start all over again. Smog is missing so many times here as well. It's not a fun fight, this, at all. So from here, we're going to try switching to Bellsprout, but we've just realised that we have been Mean Looked, so unfortunately, it is going to get back all its HP, and then we have to switch into Ekans, which is still asleep at this point. Hopefully we can wake up before a Dream Eater actually hits. It has had its accuracy lowered by Meowth. And then we switch into Bellsprout, which gets taken down straight away by a Shadow Ball. This is looking pretty bad. So unless Ekans can clutch up here, Hypnosis misses every single time, which it actually does. Can Ekans salvage this attempt? We get hit by a Nightshade twice, and this is looking pretty bad. Yeah, we're going to take a loss here. So, what can we do differently here? We got very lucky on the Gengar that it started hitting, well, missing loads and loads of Hypnosis. As well, we can switch between the two because we get cursed quite a bit. And from here, Shadow Ball is just doing massive damage. I wasn't expecting it to do that much. Ghost in Gen 2 is a physical type move, so if your physical defense is not great, then you're also not going to do very well in this fight against Shadow Ball. I always found it weird that Ghost is a physical type move when the whole point of being a Ghost is you're like an apparition. You can't be physically touched. It's a strange thing. We managed to take down Morty pretty comfortably on the second time round. And from here, we pick up the move Shadow Ball, which might be quite useful. There are a few Psychic types that will come up later on. From here as well, we're going to go give ourselves another go against J. John's, our rival. And even with this team, I mean, we still haven't had one evolution on this team yet. Level cap's level 29 now. How do we do against J. John's here? So we start off with Meowth as well, our probably most reliable member so far. Magnemite comes in, and we're going to go for the Mud Slaps. It'll take two of them to take it out, but we have been cursed and we have been confused. Not a great scenario. So we bring in our Ekans, who again is going to get hit by Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom at this point in the game is still kind of scary because it deals out set 20 damage. The Zubat comes out, we use a load of bites and get a load of flinches, putting it on low HP. And then it's just barely. If we get a Poison Sting, we poison it first turn, and that should be it for us. We have, as long as the poison is on that Bay Leaf, we can Poison Sting our way through. We've still got two Pokemon to work with. Koffing can quite easily just wait out this fight and get the win, because Razor Leaf's not going to do much against us whatsoever. So the rival is pretty easy for a Team Rocket team so far. Even if like we had given them like a Totodile or Cyndaquil, honestly, I still think that it's very, very easy. Now we've got 4 badges, though, I think it's a good time to add a new member to the team, and that is going to be Lickitung. Yes, this is a very controversial Pokemon for a lot of people. A lot of people really don't like this Pokemon. I still think it's funny. Like, it's a funny Pokemon, in my opinion. And as soon as I don't know how many of you guys actually watch One Piece. As soon as I saw Dr. Vegapunk in One Piece, I immediately thought, that's some inspiration from Lickitung there. But that also would suggest that Lickitung is intelligent, and looking at its dopey face, I honestly don't think it is. We've progressed into Olivine City, and Bellsprout is very close to evolving here, which is a very well needed damage increase. From here, at level 21, we can get ourselves a Weeping Bell. And it's going to stay Weeping Bell until we get to Kanto, which is crazy to think about. If you guys know where there is a Leaf Stone in Johto, the Johto region in this generation, please let me know, because I've genuinely never found one in this region. It always had to be Kanto. And I'm pretty sure you can't get any of like Jolteon, Vaporeon or Flareon in Johto until you get to Kanto as well, because there are no elemental stones until Kanto. It's just a really weird thing, in my opinion. Moving over to Cianwood City, we're not doing too well against this Hitmonlee. So we've finally learned Sludge on Koffing, which is so well needed because it's a stab poison type with a decent attack stat. So we can at least take it down pretty comfortably. The poison type is resisted by fighting, so we don't have to worry too much about hits from fighting type moves. But the Hitmonchan's different kettle of fish. It can use the elemental punches, it can burn us, it can freeze us, it can paralyze us. It's a bit of a nightmare, and being burnt is probably one of the worst things for us because we are normally a physical attacker. Lickitung can come in here. It's very, very lucky that we don't have that Hitmonchan doesn't have any fighting type moves, otherwise Lickitung is just useless here. And it pretty much will be useless for this gym. It's Lickitung doesn't really have the greatest moveset. It can learn some good supporting moves and like TM moves, but its level up moveset is pretty garbage. Honestly, go have a look at Lickitung's level up moveset in this generation. It is really not good. So let's see how we do against Chuck. I'm hoping that starting off with Weeping Bell, getting the Sleep Powder off, and then switching into Coughing, we can at least take down the Primate. And then when we move into going against the Poliwrath, we can just self-destruct and hopefully get an easy win. So Surf is going to do big damage on us, puts us on 4 HP, and we used it perfectly at the right time to deal out a lot of damage. Weeping Bell then comes in, we use Vine Whip twice to get the win. Oh man, Hypnosis right at the last second. And then Dynamic Punch twice in a row. Okay, this is starting to look really bad. Can Arbok clean this up? Please clean this up, because I'm not wanting to do this fight again. Yeah, Final Dig gets us the win. That's pretty lucky. We did get really bad luck on Coughing and Weeping Bell there. But that's 5 gym badges in total. I'm wondering right now, though, can this team, even though they are still really underleveled, can we actually beat Jasmine at a very low level? We'll soon find out anyway. Once we've got HMO to fly, we can then fly back over to Olivine City. And it honestly might be a better idea to just go over to Mahogany Town and go up Price first, but we still need to go and give her the medicine, which I completely forgot, so I had to go all the way back to Cyanwood City, pick up the secret potion, which, honestly, if you managed to get back by flying, that's easy, but if you didn't take a fly Pokemon with you and you had to surf back, that's a lot of wasted time. So once we've finally got the secret potion, we can then head back up the lighthouse here, throw the potion into Amphi's face, and then we've got our chance to go against Jasmine. Jasmine, it's a Steelix that I'm honestly worried about. It can hit really, really hard with Iron Tail. The Magnemites are really annoying with Thunder Wave and Thunderbolt, but that Steelix has got incredible defenses, and 2 out of our 5 Pokemon will not be able to hit the Steel type whatsoever with Poison type moves. It'll be a very difficult fight. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go and pick up our 6th team member. Now, if you know the anime pretty well, you know exactly which Pokemon I'm going for, which they picked up in Johto. If you go back to Azalea Town, go back through Union Cave, you can go down this route over here, avoiding all random Pokemon. And if you've got Surf, you can now go up here. This takes you to a different route, which also leads you to a different part of the Ruins of Alph. You can go past these traders, go out here, and in this patch of grass, you can find yourself a Natu. No, they didn't have Natu. It'll take you a little while, but the Pokemon that we're actually going to be looking for, not Smeagol either, but that's useful. The Pokemon we want is Wobbuffet. So Wobbuffet is an absolute gimmick Pokemon, but I love this guy. And you're going to see how great this guy can be when used correctly. So we are very underleveled for this gym still. We're only at level 24. Thankfully, Arbok's Digs are still a one-shot on the Magnemites, so they're pretty easy to deal with, and we outspeed them as well. Then comes the Steelix. We can use Digs to deal out some decent damage, but Iron Tail is near enough a one-shot. What we're hoping for is to at least with Arbok get it to close to where it can start at least... Well, I can't remember what I was going to say. Either way. Another good thing about Wobbuffet... Oh my god, I should have used Destiny Bond. That's just completely destroyed my attempt here. Okay, Weeping Bell comes in. If we can set up growths, we could probably deal out good damage with Vine Whip. Basically, Wobbuffet is a punching bag. If you hit it physically, you can use Counter to deal out way more damage back. If you hit specially, you can use Mirror Coat and also do the same. And then for an extra bit of cheese, you can then use Destiny Bond. So if they take you out in that turn that you've used Destiny Bond, they also die as well. Wobbuffet is an incredibly useful member of a team. On its own though, I genuinely could not solo the game with just Wobbuffet. It's a very weird Pokemon. It has to rely on being hit, and you can't use Destiny Bond on a solo run because you're pretty much just giving up the attempt. So this time around, we just go in for Destiny Bonds. Hopefully, there we go, we can get it taken down. And that's how easy it is. The Wobbuffet doesn't even need to be 15 levels. It doesn't even need to be the level that you go into the gym at. We beat that with a level 20 Wobbuffet because of Destiny Bond. There seems to be a bit of a trope about this team. Both Coffin and Wobbuffet have the ability to take down Pokemon, but they won't take any experience from those fights. We've got Self-Destruct and Explosion with Coffin, we get Destiny Bond with Wobbuffet. It's an interesting team where two of your Pokemon can pretty much be sack Pokemon, but also really valuable in that sack. With 6 gem badges in total, our level cap is now level 35, and we can progress over to Mahogany Town and the Lake of Rage. Some of our brethren are here in the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany Town, so we're going to go and check on them. First though, they told us to go and take care of this red Gyarados. I don't see a problem with it. All Gyarados are red, aren't they? Or am I just colourblind? We start really struggling against it, to be honest. It's got decent bulk behind it, so I just decided to try and go for a self-destruct. It didn't work. It's also poisoned, so I can't put it to sleep. And it's thrashing us completely. This is just tearing through my team. Thankfully, it is also confused, poisoned, and Lickitung comes in for probably its first win of the video. From there, we bump into Lance, who doesn't seem to like us very much, but he asks us to go over to the hideout with him. Is he a secret Team Rocket operative? Who knows? Let's go pick up a few items around the Lake of Rage. So you can pick up a full restore, you can pick up a rare candy, and you can pick up a max ether. Just from cutting through a few trees. The hidden rare candy is just up there. And the max ether is just the one you see on the top left there. So you need to go through this tree, go around, and there you go, you have a max ether. But because we don't have a fly Pokemon, we also can't. We cannot fly back. We have to walk all the way back. And Lance decides to hyper beam one of our friends, which just seems a bit rude. So we chase him in. And some of our friends think we're working with him, so they're fighting us. We're just going to show them who's boss though, because Team Rocket don't take no shit. Oh, I was wondering how long it would take before I said a really bad joke on one of these videos today. Okay, so most of these trainers in the Rocket Hideout are pretty bad. They're pretty low level, but at the same time, so are we. It's probably the lowest level team I've managed to get to this point in the game so far, but it's because a lot of these Pokemon have very slow level up groups. Right at the end of the Rocket Hideout as well, another one of our colleagues, they decide to attack us. So Lance comes in to help, and I can't decide whether this guy is working with us or against us. We send in Coffin, who doesn't really have the best moves to take on another poison type, but we're going to use Sludge just to deal bigger damage than Tackle. Yes, I can't believe that at level 25 Coffin still has Tackle. Its level up moveset is pretty garbage. Meowth comes in, Mud slaps it down, and that brings in their Gloom. Now Gloom, it's not too much of a problem. It's just kind of annoying. Like, this thing can use Absorb to get back its HP. We use Payday to deal out some stab damage. And it starts using Absorb, which is very annoying, and then ends with a Sleep Powder. So Meowth is going to get sacked here for the next Pokemon. So we're going to bring in Weeping Bell, who can just clean up with a couple of Vine Whips. I probably should have used Cut there, so it only took one turn. And then Murkrow comes in. Murkrow's got Peck, which is super effective. Takes us 2 or 3 Sleep Powders to get it down, and then we cut for the win. That was honestly a lot more difficult than most of the fights I've ever done at this point in the game, but this team setup is so weird. It's very hard to pick out which is the best Pokemon for each type. But let's see how we do against Price anyway, the Ice-type gym leader. So the big problem here is going to be that Paraswine because it is ground type. So we're going to go straight in with Wobbuffet, who's still only level 21, mind you, and we're going to go for the counter once we've figured out what the move is that the Seal's actually going to go for. We can use Safeguard to make sure that we don't get hit by any status effects, and then we go for the counters, which deal out quite a lot of damage, but annoyingly, because I started off by using Miracle thinking it was going to go for Aurora Beam, we're in a pretty bad position right now. Mud Slaps are not doing much against Dugong. Meowth's attack output has really gone downhill since around about the 5th gym. And we're going to have to rely on Weeping Bell here to get a Sleep Powder. If we can set up our growths as well after getting a few Vine Whips off, we should be okay to take out the last 2 Pokemon with Weeping Bell alone. I was really surprised that we didn't have Razor Leaf by this point. It would be a much better move to have on our arsenal, and wow, we're down on 1 HP. We really timed that badly with our growths and our Sleep Powder. So as long as we can take out Dugong with Coffin, we can hopefully self-destruct on the Piloswine and get a win. We just go straight for it, but Blizzard takes us out. It's really bad having low speed. We've got Lickitung and we've also got Arbok left. We go for rollouts with Lickitung, which really did not do very much. And then we have to rely on Arbok. Thankfully, ground is quite neutral on Piloswine. We go for Glare to make sure we can outspeed. And then we go for the Bite strats, hoping to get some flinch chances. It's paralysed as well, which is from Glare, which is great because now it's barely attacking us. But then he uses Hyper Potion, and I'm really quite scared now. Our damage output on all of our Pokemon is pretty terrible. Thankfully though, Bite is such a good move in this generation. Ooh, we're down on 10 HP and Arbok clutches up. This is starting to get quite difficult. The early game was honestly really easy, but this mid-game is really not very good for us. Damage output is getting to new levels of low. We're relying a lot on chipping away, and we don't have anything super effective for poison types, which a lot of the Rocket side quest does have. Especially this guy with 5 Coffins and 1 Weezing. But thankfully, poison is a physical attacking move. And counter evades all... Oh my god, self-destruct, are you kidding me? He's used my own tactics against me. Counter and Mirror Coat can forego any accuracy drops, so it didn't matter whether they were using Smokescreen or not. We could still get around the accuracy as long as they hit us. We are losing Pokemon left, right and centre. Thankfully, Arbok can dig underground and get away from one self-destruct. We can then dig and deal half damage out. It then does the exact same thing on the next turn, so we get some good damage on Weezing. We then dig again, and he goes for Explosion. That's 3 in a row. Can we go 4 for 4 here? We go for Dig. Nope, we don't see it, but we take it out with Dig, so that's fine. Final Coffin. Can we get the same? Nope. He goes for Tackle. Final Dig. We miss because of smoke screens. And we keep missing with our digs. This is looking kind of bad now. We go for Bite, hoping for just take it out, but it took 2 bites to take him down from there. From there, we can go against J. Johns again in the underground. And this is a decently difficult fight. We start off with Lickitung this time round because we want to try and get this Golbat confused. We then go for Defense Curl so we can take less damage. But we're just hitting ourselves in confusion. We can't even get rollouts set up before we get taken down. Yeah, Lickitung is not great. I do like the Pokemon, but it's just not very good. I've said in a lot of videos as well, I'm very unusual in which Pokemon that I do and don't like. I usually like the Pokemon that aren't very popular because I find ways to make them really good. So Lickitung is another one of them, but I still haven't found a great way to make Lickitung all that good. In Gen 1, you can just use all of the TMs to make it good, but its level up moveset, not very good whatsoever. We're getting absolutely trashed by this one Golbat here. We've already lost more than half of our team. Coffin is about to go down, and we only just take it out with a Sludge. I do not think that Coffin can win this here. We've now got Arbok and Weeping Bell left to deal with. We managed to take out the Magnemite, which is fine. We can take out the Haunter as well with Dig. It takes 2 hits to do that though. And that brings us to the Sneasel. Now Sneasel is not going to be too much of a problem. Dig should be super effective. It looks like it's more neutral really. We Glare it as well, and then we switch into Weeping Bell so that we can actually save Arbok for the final Pokemon. Yeah, Arbok so far easily been the most consistent player. Meowth was very consistent until the mid-game, but Arbok probably most consistent over the course of this run so far. Coffin, use it as a sack Pokemon with Explosion, same with Wobbuffet with Destiny Bond. Lickitung, really not been very useful whatsoever. We get down to 13 HP against Meganium, and then again we get taken out. So can we take out this Golbat as soon as possible? We manage to get a Bite Mirror Coat off, because Bite again is technically special in this generation, so Mirror Coat works on that. And then we set up Destiny Bond, hoping that it's just going to take us out, and we do. We can take down the Golbat. That's fine, I can deal with that sack getting rid of the Golbat, because it was such an annoying Pokemon that time round. Next comes in Magnemite, and we're going to switch, because I don't think Lickitung is going to be well suited to take it out. We bring in Meowth, who's is so squishy, but thankfully it gets enough mud slaps in to get the win. That brings in Haunter, if we can lower its accuracy a bit, that's fine. We can take the curse damage and take down both the Haunter and that Magnemite with just Meowth. From here, we can also learn a new move. We're going to get rid of Bite for Feint Attack, because that means we can hit every single time regardless of accuracy drops. Meowth goes down to the Sneasel. We bring in Lickitung, who can then go for Rollouts. Rollout is super effective. It's a rock type move, and Sneasel is part ice. So that's an easy win for that, and we've got a 3 or 4 turns set up on our rollout where it can deal out enough damage to make this Meganium a lot easier. We bring in Coffin, who can go for super effective sludges, and Body Slam can't deal out enough to us before getting taken down. Again, we are very low leveled still. And we're still managing to get by. Let's see how we do against our final colleague at the top of the radio tower. We're going to start off with Wobbuffet, and this guy's only got special type moves, but Miracle will not hit Houndour because it's a dark type move. Sorry, it's a psychic type move, Miracle, so it won't hit dark types, and that's really annoying. Thankfully though, Arbok can come in with Digs and once again be the most reliable player on this team. Bites will take it down, and then we go into the Houndoom, where Digs will deal out massive damage to this Houndoom. It's dealing out half damage. All we need to do is get one more Dig and we win. That's all you need. All you need is a level 31 Arbok. And with 7 gym badges and the side quest complete, that means we can now head over to Blackthorn City. Blackthorn City brings the Dragon type gym leader, which is Claire, and none of our Pokemon are really well suited for it. But I've got a great strategy to take on Claire. Like, fantastic strategy. You know which Pokemon I'm going to use for this one. So let's go into the gym. Let's see how we do against her. Because this is going to be a funny fight. And I want to see if I can do this first time. So pretty much all of her Pokemon know special type moves. We're waiting for them to hit us with Wobbuffet. And then we can use Miracle, take them down pretty comfortably. Wobbuffet on its own can take out the majority of her Pokemon. Unless we get hit by Paralysis, so that didn't really work out too well there. We can then use Mud Slap on the next Dragonair, hopefully lower its accuracy, but it does take Meowth down pretty comfortably. Next comes Coffin. We're going to go for Smokescreen again, lower its accuracy, and hopefully take it out with Sludge. If we don't get hit by this Dragonair, we should be okay, but you got to look at the levels of our team. We are still not at level 30 with this entire team, and we're still matching up to her okay. We're on low HP, so we go for the self-destruct, and we're already onto the Kingdra. We've still got 3 Pokemon left. We're going to send in Weeping Bell, who can resist Hydro Pump, but we can't resist Hyper Beam. That's a bad situation. We bring in Lickitung, where hopefully we can get a Supersonic off, and after that we're just going to go for Rollouts. Can it tank Surfs? No, it really can't, but it hits a Self Confusion. We managed to get a bit of damage off, and again it's all on Arbok at level 32. We go for Glare. We managed to hit it, and it is Para Confused right now. Oh no, it's not Para, it's not Confused. It deals massive damage out with its Surfs. It then burns its Hyper Potion, and I'm really not dealing that much damage whatsoever. Hopefully a lot of fully paralyzed and flinch procs can hit it, and our luck here goes completely insane. We get flinch after flinch, paralysis after paralysis, and we get a first time win against Claire with a team barely scraping level 30. A Team Rocket team barely scraping level 30. That's an incredible win. I was really proud of myself for that. But the luck was unbelievable to get all those flinches and all those paralysis. If we hadn't have got that, we would have been screwed. Finally, after 8 gym badges, Coffin can evolve into Weezing. And there's only one more evolution we can get, which is going to come after the league. We've upgraded all the movesets. We've added Swagger to Weezing's moveset. We've got Sludge, which is great, Smokescreen, and Self-Destruct. So I'm pretty happy with that moveset for a Weezing. We're going to go for Sludge on Kadabra because its defenses are pretty weak. And next out, he brings out Golbat. Now, after one Swagger, I decided we're going to be on low HP here. Let's just go for Self-Destruct. It hits itself Confusion, and Weezing alone's just taking out half his team. Meowth comes out, and we're going to go for the Mud Slaps on Magneton. We get Thunder Wave, which is never great to see, and that Thundershock just does crazy damage on us. Meowth goes down, and we have to bring in Arbok, who can dig for the win here. After that, of course, is going to be Haunter. Again, dig and bite, perfect moves to take on Ghost Poison types. Shadow Ball doesn't do all too much. I probably should have just went for bite there to finish it off. And then comes in the Meganium. We've now not got a poison type move here to deal with it. So we're going to lower its defenses as much as we can. Bring in Lickitung or Weeping Bell. Get it to sleep. Ooh, we're taking quite a lot of damage from Body Slam here. Okay, Lickitung comes in and gets probably its only second win of the entire video. But we are at the Pokemon League. Let's see if Team Rocket can actually become the champion. And starting off we're against the Psychic type, which we really don't match up well against. Half our team are weak to the Psychic type. So we're going to bring in Lickitung, who has learned Icy Wind, and reduce the speed down of that Xatu. After that, we get confused and 2 Psychics take us down. So that's a fantastic start, really, isn't it? Oh, great. Meowth comes in, uses 1 Screech before getting taken down, and then we have to bring in Weezing to try and get some big sludge damage off. The -2 on defense really didn't help out too much there. And we haven't even taken out his first Pokemon, and more than half our team have been destroyed. This is where I was thinking, you know what? I really should have started off with a different Pokemon. Now here's a little weird oddity as well. These Xatu, even though they do, I think, have Peck, they won't use it. They'll still use Psychic on a Pokemon that resists it. And Wobbuffet here manages to take down both Xatu, bring herself into the Jinx where we use Destiny Bond, but we don't get it off in time. So now it's Arbok versus the entire Psychic team, and it's a one-shot. So let's try that again. We might have to push our team up to level 40. We also learned Earthquake on Lickitung from the TM. This time around we should have a much easier time. Lickitung may not have very good defenses, but it can bulk out a bit with its HP stat. After that, we're going to bring in Wobbuffet, and we're going to go for Safeguard so we don't see any of the confusions. Psychic is not doing that much damage to Wobbuffet because of his whopping HP stat, and we can take down the Xatu pretty comfortably. Second Xatu comes in, again Mirror Coat does massive damage, and we've at least taken down 2 of the scarier Pokemon. He's got 3 Pokemon left. We're going to go for a Destiny Bond, but again, it takes us out before we can set it up, and that means we need to bring in either Weezing or we need to bring in Meowth. Or Arbok as well. We can dig our way through this. One Psychic will one-shot us, but that might be all we need to do to take it down. We can Mud Slap that Jinx as well, get its accuracy down, and this is starting to look pretty bad. Weeping Bell and Weezing left. Well, just Weezing left now. This is really looking bad. Sludge does take out the Jinx, and Slowbro is out next. We're going to use Smoke Screens. Hopefully, no, we need to try this again. I was actually thinking at this point in the run, we're at the level cap, we've pushed it as far as we can. I don't know whether this team can beat Will. And I tried this quite a number of times. And it was only on this attempt here where Wobbuffet just went like ballistic on them. Mirror Coats hit every single time. We chose the right move every single time, and even when that Jinx came out, we Destiny Bonded to make sure that we could at least try and take it out. Egg Bomb does take us down without a Destiny Bond, which is kind of sad to see. But we've managed to get through some of the scarier Pokemon. We can then use Swagger on Exeggutor. Big Psychic does take down Weezing, but that should be okay. Next out comes Arbok. We go for a Glare and miss it, and then Arbok falls. And I was starting to think, yeah, again, we're starting to see a really bad pattern here. Egg Bomb also one-shots Meowth. This team is really defensively weak. It really is defensively weak. Thankfully though, with Weeping Bell and Lickitung, we can use Icy Wind to take down this Exeggutor. We got a critical hit there, and then I started setting up Rollout because I knew that the next Pokemon coming out was going to be Slowbro, and it's very defensively bulky. So 2 Rollouts will take down that Slowbro, and that beats Will. Lickitung really became useful there. Let's see how we do against Koga. So he thinks he's the best Poison type user in this generation. I've got 3 Pokemon that will say differently. We start off with Meowth though, which isn't a Poison type of course, and we use as many Mud Slaps as possible. We know for a fact we're not going to deal much damage out, but we just want to lower its accuracy for the next Pokemon coming in. We also lower its defenses with Screech. but we take loads of damage from Giga Drain and eventually get taken down. But that's fine, we can then bring in our Arbok, who can now deal out some really good damage with Dig. It's had -2 in defense, it goes for double team, but it's in vain, and then it's a coward and Baton passes out. So we use 2 digs on Venomoth to get an easy win. Fortress is out next, and this thing is going to be a bit of a nightmare if it self-destructs on us. So we're going to try and lower its defenses as much as possible with Screech, and then switch out into a different Pokemon or use Dig and deal out bigger damage. And then I forgot that Fortress has Protect. So whenever we use Dig, he times it well so that then he can start using Protect and get around the move. It's a very cheesy move. But when we've got rid of all of his Protects, 1 Dig manages to deal out some good damage, but that's not enough to work. We've also paralysed it so we can't use Sleep Powder, but its defense is so low that 1 cut takes it down. Crobat comes in and one-shots Weeping Bell from this range. That is very worrying. That then means we can bring in our Wobbuffet. Hopefully Wobbuffet can get a Destiny Bond or a counter off here, but Crobat is just deciding, nah, I'm just going to go for double teams. And we get down on low HP. We managed to get a Destiny Bond off, which is perfect, but because we got took out by poison damage, it doesn't work. And that's really sad to see. We miss a self-destruct as well because of the double teams, and it's all on Lickitung, which I don't think has got enough bulk here to work. It's used too many double teams, and we don't have much to work with here. Icy Wind will take about 3 hits to take down, and we just can't hit it whatsoever. So we need to try that again. Again, I think I started off well using Meowth though. But instead of going for the Mud Slaps, we're just going to go straight for the Screeches. So -4 in defense now on it, and 2 Iron Tails can take it down. Venomoth is next. We go for a couple of Screeches, and I didn't think Meowth had much usefulness, but as soon as you've got Iron Tail, it's got a good move to work with. We managed to at least get its defenses down before being taken out by the Venomoth, and then we go for Rollout on Lickitung. That's if we can hit it because of all the confusion that's flying around, and because of its low defenses, it does tons of damage, and that was a first turn Rollout as well. We managed to, third turn Rollout didn't hit, so we're going to have to try and get around this Fortress a bit. I was hoping that it would just explode on us, but it just used Swift to get the win. So we bring in Weeping Bell. They have set up spikes as well, which is dealing a little bit of chip damage every time we come in, and we don't want to switch out Pokemon too often to make it easier for them. We get a hit explosion on the Weeping Bell. That's fine, Fortress is down. We've still got Wobbuffet to help with the muck, and because it's only got physical moves, we can use Safeguard so we don't get toxicked, and then he's just going to try and go for Minimize, but if we hit with a counter, it's still going to hit. It takes it out nearly in one hit, and we managed to take it down the second. We've got 58 HP to work with, so we're just going to go for a Destiny Bond. Please just take us out with something. Oh, next turn it will. There we go. Wobbuffet's usefulness in full effect. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Now Bruno, of course, we don't have the greatest matchup against, but what we can do is use Wobbuffet and counter. All of his Pokemon are going to use physical type moves, and because we're a psychic type, they're not going to do much damage to us. We can... Sandstorm is really not what you want to see, but Earthquake nearly one-shots that Onix. We at least taken down 2 of his Pokemon before we get taken down ourselves. Sandstorm hits us and Wobbuffet falls. That means we can then switch into Weezing. We can go for Swagger, which hopefully works in our favour. Because it's fighting's resistant against poison, we don't take much damage even from like a double kick. Sludge can deal out good damage. We poison it as well, which is perfect, and take down the Hitmonlee. If I can get a Swagger out on this Pokemon, or at least self-destruct, there we go. He only has 1 more Pokemon left to deal with, and we've got 4. This should be an easy sweep. Can we get the Sleep Powder off? We do. That's perfect to see. And then we go for the Growth Setup. If we can get a few Growth Setup and then use Razor Leaf, we should be able to deal out at least half damage per hit. And it's only just, can we get a crit? We do. Weeping Bell finishes up Bruno, and Bruno is trash. Karen is out next, and this is probably one of the worst matchups for us. We don't really have the greatest Pokemon to take on a Dark-type team. But what we can start off with Meowth is get a few Screeches off on the incredibly defensively bulky Umbreon. But confusion damage really screws us over here. We switch into Weezing, and I go for the Swaggers, hopefully so that Umbreon can deal out big damage to itself. and because it had at least one -2 defense drop, we can take it out with a couple of sludges. That brings into Weezing, and I go for the swaggers again, hoping that we get something to work with. It also gets confused, and from here, a few sludges should work in our favour. That then brings into Gengar. Now Gengar, we can't use self-destruct on, but what we want to do is swagger it. We can still switch out if we really wanted to. We're being paralysed, so there's really no point to right now, but at least we can get one sludge off before Weezing falls. Kind of annoying that we couldn't take it out with self-destruct though. Arbok gets paralysed before we even go down into the ground, and Arbok might get taken down. So all that paralysis look that I had earlier, it's now screwing Arbok over. If we can get at least a glare off, that would be perfect, but we don't manage to hit it. We bring in Lickitung, who can use Icy Wind and Roll Out, that's super effective on Murkrow. We lower its speed as well, which is pretty nice to see. And then, my god, even after -2 on its speed, Lickitung is still slower. We try and use Earthquake, but we don't outspeed the Houndoom. So we're going to bring in Wobbuffet, hopefully for the Destiny Bond. Crunch does massive damage on us, and this is a bad situation. Takes us out before we set up Destiny Bond, and it's Weeping Bell Houndoom, which you know how this is going to go. Let's try this again. So again, Meowth is pretty good Pokemon to start off with. As long as you can get some defense drops, it's very, very useful. It does get taken down by 2 feint attacks, but we have managed to get a -4 this time on its defenses. We use Swagger, it hits itself Confusion, and look at the massive damage it's taken. Weezing, I mean, this pretty much goes exactly the same way. We Swagger the Vileplume, we sludge it into the ground. Hits itself Confusion a lot as well, which I love to see. And then Gengar comes out, and as long as I can get a Swagger off, I can switch out into a different Pokemon. But what I decided to do was use multiple Swaggers, so that whenever it hit itself, it would deal out massive damage. It does use Destiny Bond, and we put it onto low HP with... Oh, it really wants to take out this Weezing. Fine, we'll let you have it. This is pretty much going exactly the same as last time. We're going to go for Rollout this time round on the Murkrow, and that might have been a bad play, although we are still on exactly the same HP going into the Houndoom. This time around though, Wobbuffet is going to be sacked. We go for Destiny Bond, he falls for it, and Houndoom goes down. And we beat Karen with still a couple of Pokemon left to go. That means we're finally at the champion. Can Team Rocket become the Pokemon League champion? First off is Gyarados, and we're going to go for the Sleep Powder, but we get taken out by a Hyper Beam. Great, you love to see it, don't you? We switch into Meowth, we miss a Hyper Beam ourselves and get him on -6 for his defense, which means we can bring in Weezing. One Sludge should be a one-shot from here. We're really not in a great position starting off here. We go for Swagger on the Dragonite, hopefully for it to deal some big damage to itself. It manages to hit it by itself, and then Hyper Beam comes out, and that's really a bad situation because now it's got +2 on Hyper Beam. So we're going to switch into Lickitung, who can't even take it out with an Icy Wind, and then gets taken down by Hyper Beam as well. This is looking really bad. We go for Bite, it manages to take out that Dragonite, but there are still 2 more Dragonites and a Charizard and Aerodactyl to go. We're really not in a great position here, guys. Blizzard takes us down, and it's all on Wobbuffet. Can Wobbuffet do this? Probably not. We managed to set up a safeguard so we can't be Thunderwaved. And pretty much what we're hoping for is to choose right on Counter or Miracle. It's kind of difficult with the Dragonites because they have both physical and special moves on their moveset. So we really need to pick and choose what we get. We push our team up to level 50, the level cap, and at this range, Weeping Bell can actually tank. It can tank a Hyper Beam. That means it can get it to sleep, get its special up, and we can at least take out that Gyarados. We get the first Dragonite to sleep, and with our +3 on growth, I think it is, +4 now, Razor Leaf's dealing out acceptable damage. It is resisted, it's both flying and dragon, which grass is not good against. And Weeping Bell finally gets taken down by a Hyper Beam, but that's more than fine. We can start using Rollout here. With Rollout, it accumulates damage every single turn, so every turn we hit a Rollout, it's dealing more and more damage. Icy Wind will finish off this Dragonite, and that brings in Aerodactyl. Now, if I can get one Icy Wind off here, this will really help us out, because the speed drop there is enough to work. So next we're going to bring in our Weezing. From here, we can use a Sludge, and it takes down the Aerodactyl, bringing in Charizard. There's only 2 Pokemon left on his team. We're going to go for Swagger first, and then we'll go for Sludge, but we get hit by Hyper Beam, we're on 1 HP. This isn't good. Thankfully, he hits us out in Confusion. We can use Explosion for the win, bringing in Meowth or Wobbuffet for the final Dragonite. Now, it's got Outrage and Hyper Beam, which we need to be worried about, so I'm just going to go for the Destiny Bond. Doesn't happen though, and we've ran out of Destiny Bond PP. Thankfully though, we can just use Mirror Coat when he uses Outrage. Dragon is a special type move, and Wobbuffet gets us the win. I like that guy. So Team Rocket can become the champion before the level cap, which I'm impressed by, and we did it without a fully evolved Weeping Bell. Say thanks to our team for getting into the Hall of Fame, but the next challenge that we need to deal with, of course, is going to be beating Blue and beating Red in Kanto. On the way to doing that though, of course, we can get ourselves a Victory Bell, which is very well needed. It gets a massive power boost when it evolves, and trust me, that is really going to help us out for the final fights. So once we've found ourselves a Leaf Stone, we will evolve into Victory Bell and head to Viridian City, and we will see how we do against Blue, the former champion. Now, this is going to be an interesting fight. We start off with Meowth of all things, which doesn't get the greatest start. We managed to at least get one Screech off. That might be all we need. Lickitung comes in next. Kantank hits a little bit better, and we start off Rollout. But then Pidgeot also starts out Rollout. We're on 90 HP going into Alakazam. We can't tank the Psychic, and that makes me sad. So I'm going to bring in our Wobbuffet to deal with this Alakazam. We go for Mirror Coat. Psychic's not going to do all too much damage, and we nearly take it out with 1 Mirror Coat alone. Taking down the Alakazam brings in Rhydon, so we're going to go for counters. Annoyingly, he hits us with bloody Sandstorm again, but we managed to hang on with 5 HP before Sandstorm damage takes us down. It's 3 against 3 right now. Gyarados sets up the rain, getting rid of the Sandstorm, and then we get it to sleep. Hydro Pump doesn't do all too much damage, we can get it to sleep pretty quickly. And while he's using his full restores, wasting them here, that's fine, we can bring in Weezing. And yeah, one thing I never realised about Gen 2, Weezing can actually learn Destiny Bond. So now we have 2 Pokemon on our team who can learn Destiny Bond. How cool is that? They are pretty much the ultimate sack Pokemon, these 2. We bring in Arcanine, we go for Destiny Bond, but Flamethrower hits us before that, and we have to bring in Arbok. So we've got Bite, which is super effective, and we can also try and waste some of his Extreme Speed PP. We go for the Glare so we can actually outspeed when they want to use Flamethrower, and also the Paralysis really helps us out from now and then a final Dig gets us the win against that. That just leaves Exeggutor, and we should have enough to work with Bite, Paralysis. We just need to make sure we get through this final Exeggutor. The flinchers work in our favour again, and the legendary flincher Arbok just gets us the win. First time. Was that first time? I can't remember. That just then leaves Red, and this is a difficult fight. Look at our team compared to his. We start off Meowth versus Pikachu of all things, proving that Meowth is the better of these 2 Pokemon. We are level 68, and we managed to take it down with a couple of slashes, but that's only because Pikachu misses so many Thunders. Meowth then falls immediately to a Psychic, and then we bring in Wobbuffet for this Espeon. Now this Espeon will use Psychic, it will use Swift as well, so there's a chance it could use either of the 2. This time it just goes for Psychic, so we take down the Espeon pretty quickly. Snorlax comes out and it goes for Amnesia. Normally it will go for Body Slam as well, but 1 counter nearly takes it out. We go for Destiny Bond, and he takes the bait. We've taken down half his team already, so we're going 3 for 3, and we're not even at level 70 here. Next out comes the Venusaur, and we go for Screech, hopefully so we can deal a one-shot with Dig after... My god, it was paralysed 3 turns in a row there. 1 Dig nearly takes it out, and then he goes for Solar Beam and paralysed again. Fantastic, I love this. We try and get a Glare up on the Charizard. We actually managed to tank it and use 1 Screech before Arbok falls. That's fine, we can bring in Weezing now, and because there's 1 defense, like a -2 defense drop, Sludge does incredible damage with a critical hit. This is looking incredibly good. I'm going to go for an Explosion here, see if we can take it out. And we do. We've just beaten Red under level 70 with a Team Rocket team. I'm stunned. Most of my other runs, team-based runs, have had to be over level 70, and I'm very impressed that Team Rocket can do it under level 70. If you got to this point in the video, guys, really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're enjoying RB as much as I am. And if you aren't subscribed, smash that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to get this channel up to 1k subs by the end of this month. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but it's really appreciated nonetheless. So give a big thank you to you guys if you got here. Smash that like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Take care.